Yemen's Houthis have intensified their threats against Israel, directly targeting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in an escalating show of defiance. They have made it clear that they will not back down, contrasting themselves with Hezbollah and other regional adversaries. Their recent statements underscore a determination to prevent Israel from achieving any significant victory in its broader regional campaign. Over the past weeks, missile and drone strikes by the Houthis on Israeli targets have increased markedly, signaling a significant shift in the group's strategy and ambitions. Israel's efforts to counter regional threats have heavily focused on neutralizing perceived adversaries like Hamas, Hezbollah, and now the Houthis. Reports from the Times of Israel reveal that the Houthis launched over 200 missiles and 170 drones at Israel in the past year, often targeting central Israel. While Hamas and Hezbollah face ongoing setbacks, the Houthis remain resilient, determined to solidify their position as a significant player in the conflict. Their strikes highlight a growing capability and willingness to challenge Israeli defenses, with attacks increasingly breaching critical areas near Tel Aviv. The Houthis' recent strikes, including a December 19th attack on a school in Ramat Gan near Tel Aviv, have provoked stern responses from Israeli leadership. Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Minister Israel Katz have vowed to retaliate by targeting Houthi leadership directly. Israeli forces launched a series of airstrikes on Houthi-controlled infrastructure, targeting fuel depots and power stations. However, experts argue that airstrikes alone are insufficient against an adversary that has demonstrated resilience to prolonged bombing campaigns. Reuters points out that the Houthis' guerrilla tactics and deep local support further complicate Israel's military operations. The Houthis' ideological motivations add another layer of complexity to the conflict. Known as Ansar Allah, the group is driven by an anti-Western agenda encapsulated in their slogan calling for the destruction of America and Israel. According to Al Jazeera, their actions are both a political strategy to bolster their regional influence and a religious campaign aligned with Iran's broader objectives. Iran's support, including financial aid and advanced military technology, has been pivotal in enhancing the Houthis' operational capabilities. The Washington Post reports that the Houthis have received advanced missiles and drones from Iranian stockpiles, reinforcing their capacity to challenge Israeli defenses. Israel faces an uphill battle in countering the Houthi threat without substantial regional and international cooperation. While Saudi Arabia and the UAE share concerns about Houthi aggression, their complex relationships with Iran and internal regional rivalries hinder unified action. The United States, though supportive of Israel's security concerns, remains cautious about deeper involvement in yet another Middle Eastern conflict. The New York Times warns that this fragmented approach risks allowing the Houthis to continue their campaign largely unchecked, complicating efforts to establish stability in the region. The ongoing conflict has exacerbated Yemen's already dire humanitarian crisis, drawing international condemnation. Organizations like the United Nations have urged restraint, emphasizing the urgent need for diplomatic solutions to prevent further escalation. However, the Houthis remain undeterred, using their attacks to signal their commitment to Iran's anti-Israel strategy while asserting their independence as a formidable force in the region. Their defiance highlights the broader geopolitical stakes at play, involving competing interests of regional powers like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Israel. As tensions mount, Netanyahu's government faces critical decisions about how to navigate the Houthi threat. Analysts from The Guardian suggest that Israel's intensified focus on Yemen risks dragging it deeper into a multifaceted conflict where clear victories are elusive. Without cohesive alliances and sustained international pressure on the Houthis and their backers, the likelihood of de-escalation remains slim. The next phase of the conflict could further destabilize the region, with Yemen becoming a central battleground in Israel's wider struggle against Iranian influence.